My name is Anthony Sapacchino. I'm a local disc golfer from the Central Jersey area. This is Wolf Hill Disc Golf Course. It's a course that's been here, I believe 2014, 2015 was the first year it went in. It's mostly par threes with one par four. Now we're going to walk through the course, do a quick breakdown on a lot of the holes, and really show you what this course is and what it's about. Hole 1 is about 300 to 315 feet. It's slightly uphill, so it plays a little longer, plays closer to 350 range. There is no OB on the course. There are just bad places to be. A throw where you're gonna find the most success here is you're gonna find yourself doing well with a righty backhand. You can go straight and let it fade, or you can go around the tree, it's a little tighter. A lefty forehand also plays really well here. Hole 2 is 240 feet. It's slightly uphill with a hill that slopes right to left. There's some guardian trees on the right, but a straight shot with a mid-range or a putter or a fairway driver, if you need the distance, will get you there. With a righty backhand, righty forehand, anti-flex works great, or a hyzer flip with a mid-range, or very overstable mid-range. Lefty backhand is a great way you play into the hill. Disc is gonna sit, you just gotta get right behind the tree and take your easy birdie. Hole 3 plays almost exactly the same distance, 250 feet, except this time it's slightly downhill. You are throwing from just underneath some trees. You are going to be trying to beat the one cluster of a bush tree weed in the middle. Big righty hyzer with something very overstable is also an option. Lefty with the newly cleared out left side, a lefty forehand will play, or lefty backhand as well. Basket sits right in between two large shrubs, so you need to be either directly in front of it or directly behind it to have a putt. Hole 4 plays about 260 feet. It's pretty flat, but the ground does go uphill and then quickly downhill, but you are throwing level the whole time. This is wide open. There's a couple trees in a line that the basket sits next to. Righty hyzer, righty forehand, lefty hyzer, lefty backhand. Everything works, everything gets you to the basket. It's right in front of you. Definitely a must-get birdie on the course. Hole 5 plays 350 feet uphill with a low ceiling. While there is no out of bounds on the course, this is the only hole with a mando. The mando is the large tree on the right-hand side. You need to be on the left of it. This is mostly for safety, as hole 6's tee is directly behind the mando. Shots that work here, you're gonna look for a low flex righty backhand, a lefty anti-forehand. This is also a popular play where people will try a roller. It is one of the most difficult holes on the course. It's a rare birdie, but feels great when you get it. Hole 6 plays about 260 feet downhill. It's very straightforward. There is a line of trees on your left-hand side that you do need to stay inside of. The basket is raised on a platform. This did used to be an old horse farm. This is where the jockeys would get onto the horses to make it easier for them, since jockeys are normally smaller in stature. Shots that work here, righty backhand with either a putter or mid-range due to it being downhill work. Lefty, you're gonna wanna look more for a forehand to stay away from the tree line. Hole 7 is 320 feet. It plays pretty flat, although very slightly uphill at the end. There is a wall of trees in the middle. You need to choose to either take the left gap or the right gap. Both work. If you're going the right gap, you'll have a little more success keeping it low with a righty backhand or with a overstable lefty forehand. On the left-hand side gap, which is slightly wider, but does require a slightly trickier shot, you're gonna throw a righty forehand or a lefty backhand, straight, a little bit of finish, get right to the pin. Hole 8 plays about 325 feet out of the tree line into the open, back to a basket that's in the middle of two pretty large pine trees. This is one of the few times on a course where you can't throw a righty backhand. Best shots here, you're gonna wanna look for either a righty turnover shot that comes back and finishes with a little bit of hyzer at the end, or lefty backhand will get you to the pin. Due to the fact that there are bushes on both the left and right of the basket, you're gonna wanna make sure that you throw very straight and finish straight. Otherwise, you're gonna be behind a bush, not really leave yourself much of an opportunity for birdie. Hole 9 plays about 285, 290 feet. It's downhill. Off the tee, it's a pretty open look. You do have to just clear the fence and make sure that you miss the one large cluster of trees on the right-hand side. righty backhand, you can either go straight at it with a putter or a mid-range, or take it wider with a driver if you're looking for a little more fade and a little more finish. From the lefty side, lefty backhand, you're gonna have a little more of a flex look, but it does finish pretty open in the middle. Very straightforward hole, easy birdie. Hole 10 is 310 feet. It's pretty straight, it is pretty flat. There are trees on the left, trees on the right, and trees in the middle. The basket is roughly 30 feet behind a row of 3 pines, and there is one more tree to the back and left of the basket. Where you're gonna find success here, personally, I find if you have the power, a righty forehand, pure hyzer is a great way to finish, but it does require a lot more strength than your average player would have with a forehand. If you're looking at a backhand, you can either hyzer flip the skinny gap to the right, or throw a bit of an anti-flex that's gonna come back around and finish. You'll wanna do this with a slightly overstable disc. Hole 11 is definitely one of the harder holes on the course. It plays about 380 feet with the newly backed up tee. It does follow a slight curve from left to right all the way down. There is a tree line on the left that follows an old fence on the property, and you are throwing from the open into the woods about 40 feet past the mouth of the opening. You're gonna have your best luck with an anti-flex here, where the disc just starts to come out of it flex as it hits the mouth of the opening. You can also throw a righty turnover with something like a Valkyrie or a hatchet that's gonna finish all the way through. Lefty, you're gonna have your best luck with a lefty backhand that flips up to flat and finishes straight the whole way down the mouth. Hole 12 plays 350 feet and it is wide open the whole way. There is a line of trees on the left-hand side that is very rough, so if you wind up in there, you're gonna be playing scramble golf. Just make sure if you're throwing righty backhand or lefty forehand, you don't hyzer out early. You can either go straight at the pin or take it wide and high, as the trees on the right-hand side are low enough that you can throw straight over them. This is the new look hole 13, which starts a series of 3 short holes affectionately known as Cubby's Corner, named after the designer of the course and local legend Carl Cubbage. Hole 13 is about 200-ish feet downhill with 3 real options. The middle gap is the most enticing, but it is going to be the tightest because it is straight. You can get there with a putter. It is only about 200 feet. It is downhill. Anything further and you're going to wind up going long into some rough behind the basket. Hole 14 plays 200 feet uphill. There is a large cluster of smaller trees on the right-hand side right off the tee. So you are going to want to throw righty backhand straight to finish left into a small horseshoe-shaped alcove where the basket is located. To the left of the basket, there is a small ditch. It's a drainage ditch. There is a look coming back up, but it is going to be very tight. Hole 15 is the last of Cubby's Corner. It plays 185 feet downhill. The basket is located in an alcove of trees, so you do need to come in with a pretty steep righty hyzer or lefty hyzer, even with the pin. You're going to want to throw out wide and let the disc finish in, otherwise you could potentially skip forward and long and wind up under a tree. This is one of a few holes at Wolf where you can be about 10 to 15 feet away from the pin without a putt, so placement on your shot is really important. Hole 16 is the lone par 4 on the course. It is 610 feet straight in front of you at the base of the one large tree. As far as what to throw here, this is a real pick your poison. Whatever you think is going to get you the most accurate distance off the tee, leaving you a comfortable second shot. A lot of the times when you're on the tee during the summer, you'll hear the Monmouth Race Track from behind you. You can hear the PA from here. You'll hear the races being announced. Sometimes even hear a little bit of live music and a concert during the festival. Hole 17 plays 230 feet downhill to a suspended basket. The basket is suspended from an old watering post where the horses would be walked under after races to kind of cool down, make sure they get their body temperature down. As far as what you want to throw here, whatever you have that goes straight is what you want to throw. Hole 18, final hole at Wolf Hill, takes you back to the parking lot. It's 360 feet slightly downhill. About 40-50 feet off the tee, you do have a gap you need to hit. It's framed up on either side by a pretty big tree, so you should be able to hit the gap. As far as what you want to throw here, depending on the wind, you're going to look at either righty backhand straight at it, or righty forehand, maybe on a flex line to get you a little further out of the gap and make sure you come back to the pin. Lefty, backhand's definitely gonna be a better bet. You leave yourself a lot more room to work with as opposed to having to try and anti-flex along the tree line.